Joining me now is Sky News contributor Louise Roberts and the Daily Express royal reporter Pandora Foresight. Louise, this really needed to go right, didn't it?
Absolutely, Cara, and all the points you make in your editorial I agree with completely. This was Meghan's shot at making herself a lifestyle guru in the footprint of Martha Stewart, away from her narrative, which had been criticising the royal family. But, you know, I think they were just lulled into a sense of, a very false sense of security after their 2022 Meghan and Harry documentary, because that rated very well, and they assumed that they could do their own projects and these would also rate. But as you say, they've both tanked. And the key issue, I think, for Meghan here is that she wanted this footprint as a lifestyle guru, and it's really dented her reputation in this space because people have called the show smug and self-serving and narcissistic and everything, but without any value in the lifestyle space. You don't watch it and learn anything new. And I'm interested to see also the fact the ratings were so bad, because I half expected hate watching may have actually driven the numbers up, that people would watch it because it was so bad, but clearly that tactic has not worked either. So as you say, Harry's Polo show also tanked. I think it rated 3,000 and something on Netflix's sort of platform ratings. So and he already had a global footprint, of course. He's had that from day one, being the king of the king's son. So really for them, I think it's back to the drawing board. If they want to do TV and they want to do streaming, they need to be authentic and not be playing at being these people who are very pretentious. And for Netflix, I mean, it's not much of a return on that $100 million investment, is it?
And Pandora, that brings me to the next point. Like, where to from here? Does season 2 go ahead? What do they do?
Yeah, echoing what both of you have said. I mean, it's not been great, has it, the success off the back of this? I mean, I'm scrolling on Instagram and I just sort of see clips and jokes off the back of it, which will go on further on the programme. But being the butt of the joke seems to be Harry and Meghan's forte, unfortunately, at the moment, with clips from their shows. Look, as you said as well, Louise, the Polo programme that Harry did only got 500,000 views globally. It has tanked, and they can't lean on each other for advice because neither of them want to know what they're doing on TV. Essentially, the filming has already taken place for Meghan's follow-up series, so I imagine it still will go ahead. And I think that was kind of the PR spin on it, was like, woohoo, we've got another series, but it was already filmed. So Netflix would be mad not to put it out, purely more so than sort of a brand exercise for them. They'll get lots of headlines with Netflix in, but whether the reviews will be any good, I don't know. But yes, I imagine it still will go ahead. But after that, I'm not sure if Netflix is getting bang for their buck, to be quite frank. And I think Harry and Meghan need to come up with better ideas if they foresee a future doing series and TV platforms.
Well, they've had lots of ideas so far, so they're really going to have to rack their brains for something else, because what they've done so far has not worked. But still on Meghan and Harry, and the satirical cartoons, well, they just don't miss when it comes to the Sussexes. We'll never forget this particular South Park moment.
We want privacy!
Thanks for having us on the show.
It's so awesome to be here. It's great.
So let me start with you, Sam. You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Where? Yes, that's right, friend. You see, my wife and I
was totally like, you should write a book because your family's like stupid, and then so are like journalists.
So you hate journalists. That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right.
It never gets old. And the Family Guy has also had a go.
Sir, your millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post for Del Taco.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
Well, it's been reported that the Family Guy has had another pass at the Sussexes. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the footage for you yet. We couldn't get that for you, but Pandora, no doubt it's withering.
Yeah, so as again, they are the butt of the joke. This is what happens when you leave that security of the royal family and you start mocking them. They will start hitting back, and that's exactly what has happened here. There is a clip which essentially shows history and how history pretty much sucks. Then it pans to a cartoon of Harry getting defensive on camera, and we have all seen Harry being defensive, and in some cases rightly so, in some cases, well, that is very much the viewer's opinion there. But this is what happens when you leave the royal family, and it's something that Harry and Meghan will have to get used to, is opinion pieces on them and what they are doing day to day. They have left that security net essentially, and for reasons which I can understand to a certain extent, but they will have to get used to humour, and they may not agree with it, but that is what happens. And I imagine this will be one of many follow-ups in years to come. But a personal favourite of mine was the Worldwide Privacy Tour. I think that really did hit the nail on the head, and I think we can all sort of see how that would metaphorically look.
Well, they keep providing content for the cartoons, so I imagine the cartoonists will keep up with the satire. And Louise, onto a slightly different topic, and this week, you know, those royal family peace talks, they still seem to be going on. They're still reporting about it. Who's in the talks? Who isn't? What's the update?
Well, the more I read about this, Caro, the more I think they're not peace talks, they're panic talks. Now, the mere fact that we had King Charles's communications people and Harry and Meghan's communications people there, it's more like a reputation triage going on, because the key person was missing, and that is William, the future king, who we believe wasn't even told about the talks and would be very cautious about being a part of them as well. So if they're genuine about a reconciliation, they both need to say sorry. Harry needs to say sorry, Meghan needs to say sorry, and they need to do it away from the cameras, and they need to be genuine about it. Now, clearly, Charles has a soft spot for his son, but Harry's only chance at redemption now is while his father is still on the throne. And many experts in Britain are making this very point, that once it's William's turn to be king, Harry will be pushed to the side, because what's in it for William to, you know, reconcile with his brother after so much bad blood and so much water under the bridge?
I think there's going to be more water too, absolutely. But the reputation triage, I think that there's a divine way of putting it. Onto something slightly better news. In Pandora, it was Queen's birthday this week. How did she celebrate? How was she recognised?
Yeah, so the Queen's birthday, and she doesn't stop, it has to be said. And doesn't she look amazing for 78? And no, I'm not paid to say that. Many people think when you report on the royals, you sort of give them lots of positive coverage. But look, we got this beautiful new portrait of her, and of course she was wearing a dress which very much notes to nature, with all of their environmental work that they do and patronages. So that was no surprise there, that little indication. And of course, this was taken in Wiltshire at Raymill. Now, we do know that that is her sanctuary, essentially. She goes there when she just needs to switch off, spend time with her grandchildren, spend time with her children, and just get away from the buzz of royal life and London. So that's what she did this year. There was no sort of big party, as it were. But the day before, actually, well, she got a very special gift indeed. She got made the H.M. Astute Vice Admiral for the United Kingdom, and that was a gift from the king himself. And what else do you get a queen when she pretty much has everything? And actually, alongside this, when she was actually at Plymouth, she got a roll of cling film, which was very funny, got lots of reaction online. But of course, this notes back to the history of when they tried to fix a boat's engine with some cling film. And actually, she looked very thrilled with it. And I'm sure she'll make lots of sandwiches off the back of it with her grandchildren for picnics in the summer. But no, it was a very chilled day for her. And there was also a new portrait release, which is on their Instagram, which you can go check out.
What a great yarn. Louise, something very novel this week, and a portrait of the king has been painted by Aida, right? The world's first ultra-realistic robot artist. How did that all pan out?
Well, I see this as more of a tech play. It's called the Algorithm King, and as you say, this robot who has quite the footprint, I think, in the arts. Apparently it's worked with Baz Luhrmann, of course, is a very celebrated and successful film director. Apparently it's done a TED Talk as well, you know, tick that off in the LinkedIn box, I guess. But the portrait of Charles is... Again, it's a tech impression. It's not meant to be a real impression, I think, of him. There's some sort of green splodges which are meant to speak to his environmental enthusiasm. But what's missing, of course, is that wonderful twinkle in Charles's eye and that sort of wry expression that we know him for and have loved to see when he's sort of talking with people, that sort of wonderful wry look that crosses his face. So, you know, I don't think we're going to be having robots taking over from the royal portraits anytime soon. And, oh goodness, that's a good thing in my book.
I think it makes for a great yarn, but I agree that that very human part of the portrait is usually the most endearing. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me this evening.